On August 18th, 2016, I went on a hike to the Back Bay and I met two Rhodesian Ridgebacks with their owners. I said hello to them and then I went on with my day. The next day, on August 19th, 2016, I was at my work and I got a call for two Rhodesian Ridgebacks to get groomed. It was really hard to hear this person. This person sounded like they had a fake French accent, and I just had a bunch of dogs barking. and I just needed to get this person off the phone. So two Rhodesian Ridgeback grooms is not that hard. It's just a simple bath, and they're smooth coated, so they dry pretty quickly. I told him, yeah, come in this time. He asked for my hours. I told him my hours, and unfortunately I didn't get his information, which I normally get because all the dogs were barking at me for their food, and I had to get the dogs their food. The next day rolled around, and I was preparing to go to the Jason Aldean concert. So I was going to work, and I was trying to figure out how to get ready. Lunch came around, and those dogs were no-show. So I actually had time to go home and get partially ready. I went back to my place. I got my makeup done halfway, and then I went back to work early. This allowed me to leave early from work, and so my schedule was a bit off. I went home and I drove the same route that I do every single day. I drove in through the gate, and my dog was barking at this guy. I looked over and I saw a guy fiddling with a tire iron, and I just thought he looked unhoused. I told my dog to knock it off, and my dog knocked it off. I pulled into my parking space that I normally park into, but it was not assigned. I get out, I get my dog, and then I walk by my license plate, and that's when John grabbed me by the waist, looked me in the eyes, and said, "Do you remember me?" I looked up into his eyes, and I did not say anything. I just immediately tried to run away from him, and I was unable to run away from him, and I was attached to him essentially, like he was grabbing me and grabbing my arms. And he also tried to grab and cover my mouth. I bit him as hard as I could. So he grabbed onto my waist in a sense, or like right here. And he just started what I thought was punching me, but he was really stabbing me. So I ended up falling on my back onto the floor. So this shoulder, my right shoulder, hits the floor and it scrapes really bad on the floor, and then this shoulder scrapes too, but this shoulder gets most of it. And at this point, I'm kind of like up if I were like doing like twist in a sense, and I start just pedal kicking him. And at this point, I'm kicking his forearm right here as it's coming down onto me. And at this point, I see the knife that was in a Del Taco bag before. It's out, and he has it in his hand. I kick it out of his forearm. It lands on my right hand side. My dog is also attacking his ankles at this point, so I think it was a dual effort. I was also wearing rain boots, so I think that was helpful in a sense, so I had more mass. I picked up the knife in the ice pick position because that's the best position for picking up a knife. I picked it up and I started wailing on him. At first, I think that I'm getting him in the front of his chest, but I'm really getting him in the back of his shoulder. So I'm overthrowing it to his shoulder. I stab him 11 times in the back of the chest, and then he starts to follow he starts to fall, and he gasps on top of me, and I'm holding his head so that he won't bite me. I watch a lot of Walking Dead, and so I'm holding his head, and then I give one to the forehead, right, like, right here, if this is the area. So it's really like his left side in a sense, or is his right side? I don't know. I can't think that much about this. So I stab him right in the forehead, and then the last one in the eye, which is the softest point of entry to the brain. And that's when he completely body dropped on top of me, and I pushed him off of me. I scooted out underneath him, and I take the knife and I toss it to the side so that he can't get up and Freddy Cougar me. And I just start to assess the situation. I see that I'm bleeding from my forearm. I have about a 1-inch stab wound on my forearm. You can kind of see the scar now too. And so I start applying pressure to that so that I slow down the bleeding and that I'm not losing too much blood. I don't see myself bleeding anywhere else. And so I start to look around. At this point, I see that my dog, Cash, he's also a mini Australian Shepherd, and he's a blue merle. He was eating the Del Taco on the floor. So I told him to knock it off, but he wasn't listening to me. And then a lady came up with her yellow lab, and she asked me, what can I do to help? So I asked her, please just grab my dog. She grabs my dog. She has him. Then this guy with dreads starts showing up. He's wearing this guy with dreads comes up on a bicycle. He was wearing a red sweatshirt. He takes it off and he gives it to me to start applying pressure. And I kept on telling the people that that was my stepdad and he was trying to unalive me, but using a different word. So I kept repeating that over and over and over again. And they start to go, and the guy with the dreads starts to go up to him and give him CPR. And I just can't, I have to get away from him. So I go down the hill, and Skylar's walking me down the hill, the 14-year-old lifeguard, and I keep telling her, I don't know where my phone is. I don't know where my phone is. And then she goes up once I get settled down the hill, she goes up and she grabs my phone from me, and that's when I start making calls. I call my mom and I tell her, I'm so sorry. I think I unalived your husband. I knew that he would do this, but instead of using unalive, I used a different word. I'm just using YouTube safe words right now. And then I was texting with my sister. I told my mom, I'm so sorry. I knew that he would do this. And that's when she's like, what? And then she's asking me where I am. And that's when I tell her where I am. And then she tells me that she's on my way to me. Then my sister's texting me. And I tried calling my ex-boyfriend, but he didn't answer because his phone was out of service. And then I texted him and said, I can't believe you blocked me. John just tried to unalive me. But I used different words, of course. And then he was texting me back and forth, making sure I'm okay, and being like, I'm so sorry. And then the cops show up and the ambulance is there, and the cops are wanting to take my phone away from me. And I tell them, I just need to call one last person because I'm supposed to go to the Jason Aldean concert. And they tell me that my friend will get notified and that they'll let her know. So I'm like, okay, I just have to trust that they'll tell her. And at this time, the paramedic is starting to wrap my arm because my arm has the stab wound there. Just wrapping it up, and I go into I get settled in the ambulance, and they are starting to want to put IVs in me, and I told them that I don't want to do that, and they're telling me that it would be good for me. And so I told them that if I get my dog, I'll let them do it. My dog's an ESA dog. And I also they kind of told me, like, you can't have that. But then I told them I would sue them, and then they let me have my dog. I'm seeing my mom behind the tape with my dog, and so then they let me get my dog, and then I let them do whatever to me, and then it's easy. He's just laying there and letting them do their thing. So I then get over into the ambulance. I ask them, I say, hey, will I be able to go to the Jason Aldean concert tonight? And they kind of look at me in disbelief, and they're like, no, we don't think you're going to be able to go tonight. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just bummed out. Like, I just am so sad about it. And that's what I'm harping over right now, because I'm in such a state of shock that I'm having to harp over something else other than the major trauma that just happened to me. So they start playing me country music, and I start to feel a little bit better. They brought me to Hogan Newport, and I was in the hallways waiting for a bit, and then they got me put into a room where that's when they started questioning me over and over again. They took pictures of me everywhere. That's when there's that one picture with Cash on my bed, and I literally, in that photo, I don't know, like, whether to smile or what to do, but I do kind of a smirk kind of thing, because I'm like, I feel like I should smile, but then this isn't the time and place to smile, so I don't know what to do here. So that's why you get like that weird smirk in the picture. And I'm also just trying to make sense of everything that just happened to me. So the cops are just questioning me over and over and over again, just very blunt, very masculine. You know, it's kind of threatening when you just got stabbed and attacked by someone. So it's hard to have like other males around you, especially males that you don't know and trust. There was no females there, in a sense. It was all males. And the nurse came in, and so I get questioned until probably about 11:20ish, and I ask them where my mom is, and they tell me that my mom went to be with John in the other hospital, which was absolutely not true. I found out later that they told her that she needed to go identify him because he was a John Doe. So I'm hysterical because of that, and my other sister, Nicole, she comes in, and she's the first person that I see after my attack. She's hugging me. She's not really sure what to think of the whole situation, and we're just happy to see each other because I just almost lost my life. And my sister Jacqueline, she's yelling at the cops because she's like, why is Terra being interrogated for hours? Why can't I see my sister? Is my sister hurt? Sorry guys, this is really hard for me. And then I'm able to get to see my sister Jacqueline. And stay tuned till next time. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and please stay tuned for the next one.